Today's MMA Tea Company fight preview is it with Arlene Blencowe. Arlene is going to be fighting Pam Sorenson at Bellator 271. That's going to be on November 12th. Arlene, thanks for joining me today. I know you got a pad session a little bit later this afternoon. Just wondering how you're feeling, a couple weeks out from your fight in Bellator.
Yeah, no, I feel great. I've been here in Albuquerque training at Jackson Wink for almost 6 months now. So this second fight camp being here ran a lot more smoothly. I mean, I didn't have to adjust to the altitude or the jet lag. I sort of was already familiar with how everything was working, and we just progressed with what we were working on from last fight camp. So yeah, it's been a long fight camp. It feels like a long fight camp. So I'm coming into my peak for this fight and ready to put on a show and then let this body rest for a little bit, I think.
It's funny you mentioned that, the jet lag, the just getting used to the elevation out there at Jackson Wink, different things that people don't really think about when going to train at a facility like that. Is that something that really did affect you in the last fight when you were training with them?
It did when I first got here, but it definitely helped me in my last fight, I think. So it takes about 2 weeks to sort of adjust to, obviously, the jet lag, getting onto the normal sleep time, because I'm from Australia, so it's the complete opposite. So it's when it's nighttime here, it's morning there. So that takes a little bit, but the altitude is no joke. I've been here previously 2 other times, and both times I'd prepared for the altitude, trained, gone into a mini fight camp, but it's no joke. It still hit me. But I did a lot of training up in the foothills, a lot of hill sprints training, alongside Holly, doing that. And when I got to my fight, I was so ridiculously fit. I really felt like, training altitude for those 8 weeks definitely helped.
And in that fight, you did get a finish in the third round, right? And that is always, I think, a testament to someone's conditioning when they can go out and get that finish in the third round when a lot of people are tired and sucking wind and gassed. And you mentioned training alongside Holly and doing different things that I think a lot of people see her do on social media. So what has been training at Jackson Wink with the stable of quality female fighters that they have there been like just for you over these last 6 months that you've been there?
Oh, it's definitely helped my fight, in my training, just standing in front, having the opportunity to train with Holly and Clarissa and the other girls here. They're all such high level strikers and wrestlers and grapplers. So to be able to back at home, I do train a lot with the guys, and their strengths, you can never really gauge where you're at properly with the high level guys too, because, often they're not using their full strength and potential. But when us girls are training together, we're both we're all putting in, and you kind of can gauge where you're at. And it's good to have such high level girls to push you and train with, and just also have other girls sort of, Holly's achieved such great things in both boxing and MMA, and just to be able to bounce off her, with just new things that I experienced and this and that. And I realize now that, the things that I'm going through is very, very normal. And it's nice to hear that, she often goes through or thinks the same sorts of things, or, I've watched her now in fight camp and I see what she does. And I know that, I'm not too far off the ball with the things that I'm doing too. So it's nice to see.
And it's a cool thing to hear you talk about it, right? Because you've had a decent amount of fights, and it seems like still to this day you're still learning, you're still progressing, you're still trying new things, and surrounding yourself with those people that are going to propel you to another level that you want to get to. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, at the end of the day, we should all still be learning. It's martial arts, no one ever fully masters it, and that's what I like about it. Even when I go sort of, back to boxing, I'm still learning there. And everyone sort of thinks gosh, all you do is, throw punches and this and that. But you're always evolving and you're always learning. And I feel after 12 years of being a martial artist, I'm still learning. My growth this last 6 months has been through the roof. And, that's probably the most exciting thing leading into this next fight, is that I get to showcase that. My last fight, I had an 8-week fight camp here. So it's only 2 months of work. And while you're in fight camp, there's only certain things that you can work on and this and that. 8 weeks isn't really a lot of time, but I've been here for 6 months now and been working the whole time. I haven't had that much time off, like even after my last fight. Like I probably in total, the last 6 months, I probably had 2 weeks off in total, if that actually. So I've been training the whole time. So, I'm excited.
And I want to go, before we talk about this upcoming fight, I do want to go back to just your early days of MMA, because you've been fighting, I think since 2013 was your first professional fight. And, that's a long time to be grinding and to be, out in the world of mixed martial arts, especially when, the early days of women's MMA were much different than they are today. So what got you into, mixed martial arts in the first place? What, made you say, I want to get in that cage and fight someone?
That first fight in 2013 too, it was a professional fight, and that was my first ever MMA fight. It was actually the first time I'd ever stepped into a cage. I hadn't even been training. So basically I turned professional in boxing in 2012. I was an amateur boxer before that. And as an amateur boxer, I was always super busy, like some stages there, consecutive weekends fighting. And then at tournaments, you'd fight a few times over the weekend. And I was just always competing. So you knew what you were always sort of striving for. And when I turned professional, it was a real, it threw me off that you sort of only fight sort of once or twice a year. And, there's not that many, at that time, there wasn't many active female boxers. I sort of had, 2 fights and they were like 9 months between them. And I didn't like that. So, and then the training, was sort of just getting a little bit repetitive as well, like boxing training, you're skipping, running, shadow boxing, bag work, mitt work. So anyway, my coach at the time was like, why don't you just start doing some grappling? And I was like, oh, I don't know about that. It all looks a little bit up close and personal. Like, from an outsider looking at, jiu-jitsu and wrestling and, not ever coming from that world, it's a pretty up close and personal sport. So I was not keen on the idea of it. And anyway, they persuaded me and I started. And then 4 months later, I was matched for my first fight in April, and that was actually on my 30th birthday weekend. And that was just a crazy night. Like I never step foot in a cage. I was fighting at actually, I'm not sure she was a black belt. I can't remember now. I'd have to go back. But I remember that she was like, quite experienced on the ground. And I just let my hands go and I knocked it down with this right hand that sent us sort of into a backflip on the ground. And I rushed in just for the kill because I was like, oh, she's knocked down. And straight into a guard. And next minute she's armbarred me. And it was crazy so I respected the sport from there and have been addicted to the sport ever since. So that first loss definitely, just wanted me to keep going and keep learning. And the story goes from there.
And it's been a pretty cool story, right? You've been able to fight a lot of the, biggest names in the sport, yourself being one of the biggest, female names in the sport of mixed martial arts. And, you're going to be taking on Pam in this upcoming fight, Bellator 271. So just talk me through, your mindset and your mentality going into this fight.
Yeah, well, you're right. I have fought some big names, and even from that first fight, like I've never shied away from a fight. I like to be known as a fighter, and my whole motto for years has just been like a fuck it fight. Like I don't care about experience. I stood in front of Cyborg last year and was ready to throw down with her. I stand up to the whole Agatha's name. So everyone asked me, like my last fight, for example, with Diana. She was an unranked fighter and it was a risky fight for someone who I was at the time number 2. But and then this fight now, like Pam's number 7, I always put myself in, these girls' shoes. I am the number 1 ranked fighter now. So I remember looking at the girls that were higher ranked up in the division and be like, I want to fight them. And that's the mindset that both Diana had, and this is a mindset that Pam's going to have. Like she wants to take my name from that number 1 spot and she wants to put her name there. So I remember what it was like to be, the underdog in a situation, how hungry you are. So, these girls that, like I'm fighting now, I know that they're going to come in and give it everything, and that's what makes it a dangerous fight. But as you said before, I've fought big names and I've gone in there and, yeah, no one's taking away all my years of hard work, and I want another shot at Chris Cyborg, so no one's going to stop me from doing that. Pam's going to be an exciting fight. I'm excited to fight her because, you know, she does come, you know, she's had big fights too. She's been an Invicta World Champion. She's fought big names in the sport. So she's no, you know, she's a veteran as well. She's been around. So it'll be a good fight. And I'm excited just to, see where it goes, because she is a stand-up striker. Her last fight didn't go to the ground at all, but she's also like a wrestler and likes to take fights to the ground. So yeah, this should be an interesting fight for everyone to watch.
And it's funny you mentioned, you know, you want another crack at Cyborg, and you know, she's going to be headlining this fight this card, I'm sorry, that you're going to be fighting on the 12th. So, you know, what are your thoughts on the Cyborg Kavanaugh fight? You know, bringing that up earlier.
Sorry, what was that question again?
I said you mentioned how you want another crack at Cyborg, and you know, she's going to be headlining you know, the card that you're fighting on. I just wanted to know your thoughts on Cyborg and Kavanaugh, the headliner of that show, considering you did fight both of them.
Yeah, sorry. Sinead's a hard puncher. We had a fight back in 2017, I'm pretty sure it was, and I got hit by one of her punches and it rocked me on my feet. I'm not gonna lie. Like, we both rocked each other in that fight, and so this is the thing with those small gloves. If she gets her hands on Chris, she's got the knockout power and the ability to stop her. But in saying that too, Chris is such a well-rounded MMA fighter. Like, she's strong everywhere. So it'll be an interesting fight.
We'll leave it at that. We'll see what happens, right?
Yeah. No, we'll see. Like, I'll sit back and watch it. Like, I mean, I wish both girls all the best. Like I said, I fought both of them. So, I'm just hopefully it's a cool fight. And there's, you know, big punches thrown. That's what the crowd. An entertaining fight for everyone. I want to see some big hands thrown and both of them going for it.
Absolutely, I think we all do. Cool. Well, before I let you go, just wanted to give it back to you. Any kind of shout outs you want to make, you know, sponsors, training partners. I know you mentioned Holly earlier, and you know, the team at Jackson Wink. So just like to turn it over to you and, you know, let you get any shout outs and that you'd like to get out.
For sure. I always give a shout out to my kids in these interviews, so Kayla and Kian, my partner Dion back at home. I can't wait to fight and get home to you all. But I've got a lot of sponsors that have come on board. I've had sponsors from day one, and then, you know, people that have come on board recently. But between everyone, I'm just super grateful for I refer to everyone as an army of people behind me, because to be over here for, you know, 6 months and doing a fight camp in America and being away for so long, without the support of all these individuals and companies, and I wouldn't be able to do what I do. It just takes a lot of stress away from it. So thank you to all of you. Thank you to Jackson Wink and my coaches and training partners here. They've all been awesome. Again, I've been here for 6 months now. And at times it does get hard being away from home. I'm a little bit emotional. You know, I've got a family, and, you know, we weren't planning on being here for this long, but I'm here, and these guys have just been awesome. They really welcomed me into their gym as part of their family and part of the team. And I thank them all for being awesome training partners and people. And obviously you guys too. So I've got some new fight shirts coming out, which have gone on sale too. And thank you for making it super easy. In fight camp, all I like to think about is pretty much training, eating, recovering, and resting. And that's pretty much how fight camp goes. So just taking away the stress of organising the fight shirts and having to organise payments for everyone and outlaying the money and the design and everything. You guys just took care of all of it, and it was super helpful. So make sure you guys all order my t-shirt.
Awesome. I appreciate it very much. You know, we're looking forward to this fight and many more to come. Kick some ass at 271. We'll be looking forward to it.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks,
all right,
guys.
thank you.